We'll see. But and welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined once again with your host Sean Gervais from the OrbisX CRM and Marshall Hill from the Pints and Polishing Podcast, as well as Hyperclean Car Care Products. How you doing, man?
Doing well, sir.
Good
Thank
stuff,
you.
man. Is everything stacking up? It's like the dad joke of the auto industry. That's ridiculous. Yeah, man. So I have something, some interesting news actually. So first off, I'm trying a new drink. So we got this here, and it's a vodka.
Blackberry.
Yeah, it's a vodka. It's really nice, and it's made in Ontario. So it's made here locally, which is pretty cool. So they, with all the things going on, they've
What's the
taken a few things
percentage
off.
of maple syrup in there?
2%? No,
Maple syrup? 62?
yeah, 62% maple syrup. Yeah, when they say sipping on some syrup, that's where you think it came from, man. But yeah, it's funny actually. This is apparently made in a place called Hawkesbury. Hawkesbury's a little city. Oof, I'm gonna guess the population's 10,000. Maybe it's a little more. Maybe 15,000. It's not too far from here. It's halfway between where I am and Montreal. So it's about an hour outside of Ottawa, maybe something like that. But funny little town. I knew a guy there. He was looking to open up his own detail shop, but what he wanted to focus on was motorcycles. And I was like, oh, that's wicked, man. But why just motorcycles? It seems strange, like you could do motorcycles, but why not cars and motorcycles? Anyway, he said, no. There's a million guys here that have motorcycles because there's a big Hells Angels presence. And I was like, interesting. So just so I understand where your head's at, you want your primary customer, your day-to-day that you work on, to be people that if something goes wrong, you're getting the worst kind of review, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So it's like, so anyway, he rethought it, yeah, and he was like, yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. And I said, yeah, just a little word of advice. Now, whether or not there's that high of a population of people there, I have no idea. I don't follow those kind of things, but that was according to him, that's the stats. So my advice was, maybe just open up a business walking dogs or something else, something a little more mild. But yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much the only thing I know about Hawkesbury. That and my sister got married there once. The guy she married was
About
from
gutter
there.
cleaning. Should they
Yeah,
open
really
up gutter
close.
cleaning?
Gutter cleaning could work too. Yeah.
Have your little
Absolutely.
side hustle.
Yeah, doing really good actually. And so yeah, but no longer with that guy. That guy ended up, these young kids, man, 24 years old. You know, the work ethic. When he was. It's kind of like a boxer almost. When they're young and they're in the gutter, pun intended. They have that scrappiness, that hunger. But then they make a little money, they get comfortable, they get complacent, get a little overweight. Next thing you know, the next guy comes around and Mr. T gives him a run for his money. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that happens, and unfortunately, that's what happened as well. And it became to the point where it's like, listen, man, I've set up something pretty amazing here. You're fully set, but when you get complaints, if let's say something wasn't quite done right or something like that, you have the opportunity to fix it. When you're getting complaints that, hey, we had an appointment and you didn't show up, and then you send me a message at 7 p.m. saying, oh, I could probably make it there in a couple days, things like that just, they don't fly well. And so it was more a lot of fires that I had to end up putting out. And I said, look, my involvement in this was to use my marketing expertise, get you to a certain point where the business would run itself, with you at the helm, of course. But then you take the reins, and I'm just having to kind of do tune-ups for marketing, not really rebuild every week by putting out fires and having to go get new customers and stuff. So it became a problem. But the good news is, one of the guys that ended up working for him, subcontracting, he was looking for something that was a little more stable. He doesn't know how to do any marketing, things like that. He loves doing the work, and he doesn't even want to learn how to market. He said, I just want someone to just do that part. I just want to show up, do the work. So he instantly gets a pay bump, and now he's running the show. Worked out quite well. Well, been working quite well. And I have to do almost nothing now. So this guy's super punctual too. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah. And one of the first things he said to me, I said, "Listen, here's the issue. You know, like the last guy missing appointments, this and that." And the first thing he said to me, my dad always told me, "If you're 15 minutes early, you're late." The minute he said that, I was like, "Okay, well, we'll see." You know.
Hired.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then, sure enough, this guy shows up every time on time. And not only that, but he sends a notice to the customer on the way, obviously. But then he sends a message to me as well at the end of the day, recap, because he knows that was my issue. He's a little lax with it now, but in the beginning, he was sending a list. He's like 15 minutes early for this job, 20 minutes early for this job, like everything. But it was smart of him. He was, build that confidence so that I stayed invested in the project, and then now he can run with it. So yeah, it was good. But transitioned from gutter cleaning, still do gutter cleaning, but it's now transitioned into more full-on home reno stuff, like everything. Like yeah, so it's pretty good. He has a lot of skills in the trade, so that was good. But I think also he's an immigrant, and I'm not saying anything necessarily bad against Canadians, but there's a different work ethic going on there. We'll just
Well,
leave it
where's the immigrant from?
there. Ukraine. Yeah, yeah. And but yeah, yeah. And this guy too has solved all my appliance issues. Which I don't know if there's a thing with them with Ukrainians. They just seem to know appliances. So refrigerators, dishwashers, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know, because like our last repair guy, he was Ukrainian as well, and he was telling me, he's like, "Oh yeah, everyone in my village, that's what they do. We don't throw anything out." He says you could have a washer you take apart from, he's like, I could take apart from your fridge and I could make that washer work again. That's how he, probably bullshit, but that's what he was saying. Yeah, maybe more or less, but I don't know. There might be a thing there, like certain demographics, they have their specialties, right? Like like when we were in the islands, everyone told us they were like the Cubans. They were really good at building roofs that withstand hurricanes and things like that. Like every people's got their thing, and yeah, I don't know. Well, what's the thing in Oklahoma?
Man, that's what I was about to say. I don't know.
You're like,
Our thing is we stare up at the sky and watch the planes fly over.
Someone's got to do it. But yes, yeah. You guys must have something in place for tornadoes, though. Like something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but if you're from Oklahoma, you're not scared of a tornado. You go outside and look for the tornadoes.
You're like, it's just a little windy. Yeah.
You just want to see one. You always
yeah.
Everybody, for years. That's what anybody that's from here, like that's just what you do. Like you go outside and you look for it. When it goes really still,
wild.
That's when you go back inside.
Yeah. You're in the
because it go deathly still, right? And you go, well, that's the time. There we go, back inside.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what happened when the tornado ripped our house apart. It got eerily quiet. Like just you heard nothing. It was about 45 seconds of just nothingness. And then everything went to shit. And then, yeah. Do you guys do training in schools? You must. Like for...
Yeah, tornado drills. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Okay, damn. So you had to do that as a kid, I imagine?
Yeah, go sit under the thing and do this thing.
Hold yourself, count to 1,000. Yeah. Jeez, that's wild, man. But you've seen a few in your lifetime? Like...
No?
Oh, shoot. Just seen them like the news, but you haven't actually seen them. No. Oh shit, that's wild.
There's only actually been a couple of touchdowns in Tulsa ever.
Oh no way.
So,
okay.
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay. So
we always look, but they always go around us. They always go around us. There's two beliefs of it, right? There's the belief of the water and the flow with a little bit of elevation makes them stay away just by And then there's some people that you'll appreciate this part, that there was actually, some Indian spirit type stuff because of our heritage here in Oklahoma. Like I've seen some Indian people talk about, things that they had done previously and, and that they believe that is what keeps the tornadoes out of Tulsa, right? So don't know, man. I don't know.
It's like who knows what to. Yeah, but I know what you mean though, because it's kind of like the opposite sometimes, where there's an area where something bad always happens, and then people say, oh, it's because there was an old like what do you call them, cemetery or something there, or like where they buried the dead, But yeah, I can see that. I mean, both could probably be true, right? I mean, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah,
You're like, I don't know. Yeah,
as
but
long as they don't touch down here, I'm good to go.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I
Those
just
are
go
those
outside
interesting
and
things.
drink a beer and watch them go by.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah, shit ain't. It's not like.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I love about things like that though, and I feel that a lot of people don't capitalize on. Some do it really well, but when there's these kind of like stories or something like that, and maybe not in this case because you don't want to really mention tornadoes and stuff in your marketing, but there's places where they're kind of known for something, or there's like like here for example, we have this house. It's downtown now. I think it's a restaurant right now, but supposedly it was haunted, like 600 years ago or something like that. And there was this and that, so they do ghost walk tours there and so on and so forth. But they rely on that heavily with their marketing side of things. But sometimes there's these weird quirks about like a city or a place, and I feel that people don't capitalize on it enough when they really could. Like there's where the hell is it? Actually, it's near that place Hawkesbury is telling you about. I was driving by there the other day, and I mentioned this to my wife, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the place is. I should remember it because it was in The Walking Dead. Wherever they had made their, I don't know, kind of community or something, and it was their zone. Jeez, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. Damn, now it's happening to me, Marshall. But whatever the
Yeah,
name
when
is.
I did that, yeah,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
terrible, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh man, now it's happening to me. It's contagious. Oh my god. Whatever the name of the place is, this will have to be a contest or something because like someone's got to help me out figuring this out. But whatever the name is, that's the name of this town. And I was like, man, if that was me, I would set up some sort of like zombie themed thing or something, and I would try and make like, get the fanatics of The Walking Dead to come there. Oh my god, that's gonna kill me now. Jesus. Anyway, whatever the name is, but those kind of cool things. There's when you look around, there's always opportunities, because like, especially movies and stuff.
I mean, they are cool. You're right. And then some people just get caught up too much. You see it in groups, you see it all over.
That's
Like
true. Yeah,
so concerned about the name and gotta have the most perfect name, and you just go, yeah.
you do and you
And
don't.
then you also don't really care about the name at all. I mean, what does Amazon mean? It's a jungle.
It's
You
true.
never thought it meant online shopping until they
It's
made
true.
it.
Yeah,
They
and we have
made it
a
that way.
yeah, it's true. We have a classified ad site here called Kijiji. It used to be owned by eBay, and Kijiji is a Swahili word for village. But people like the people that primarily use it here don't speak Swahili or understand Swahili, but still they're like, oh yeah, Kijiji. Oh yeah, post it on Kijiji. Sell it on Kijiji. Oh, I bought this from Kijiji. It's something people say,
So, speaking of buying stuff,
Yeah.
Gideon's buying stuff. We
Yeah.
got a 4-box order headed up to Canada.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, I love to hear that, man. Hell yeah, salut, man.
Yeah, he's over on the east side, so Kimberly couldn't service him, and he had said he'd reached out to her before, and but his name is Michael from Rockland, Ontario.
Shoot, that's not far from me. Yeah, that's maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, if there's no traffic. Maybe 25.
He
25.
got a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Yo, wicked, man.
full 4-box ordered. Like he got a lot.
Yo,
Like,
salut. That's
mhm.
wicked, man. Good stuff. Well, good. He's in the right market. There's a ton of vehicles here that need coding. So, man.
Yeah, a nice guy too. He got it for his own, his own cars and for his friends and families and stuff like
Oh,
that.
he bought it just for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why you were like, oh, shoot. Yo, that's wicked, man. Damn. Yeah, yeah. How do you find out about you?
Podcast, our Pines of Polish
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah,
Amazing. Yo,
listens
that's
to it.
wicked.
He's in our HyperClean specialist group on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what? Case in point there. So, wait, he has a detail shop or no detail shop?
He works at a detail shop.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. But, well, there you go, though. Case in point. He wants this for his own vehicles and friends and family and stuff, which goes to show you, further to the point that we were making last week, is that forever really, this is the kind of way that you can capitalize as a detailer when you become a distributor as well. Your customers are going to want to use the same products when they're not coming in to get their car detailed. Now, if this guy works at a detail shop, I assume that he can get his car detailed there as well, I imagine.
But they're one of
But
those shops that sign some agreement, they kind of have to, quote unquote, buy stuff from this company. And he
Ah,
goes, yeah, I ain't doing
jeez.
that.
That's
He went all in, goes, listen, man, I'm not doing all that. I really want to use your guys' stuff. And so he went
amazing.
all in and grabbed it,
Hell
even
yeah.
though he could get it from his own shop. And you're right, he could do things like, and you
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
that to me was the cool part of the moment. I go,
Yeah.
cool, all right, man, stepped out pretty big.
Yeah.
That
Right on,
shipping
man.
bill wasn't cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Trust me, I
So he
know.
stepped up even more with that. He's got duties to go to. And you go,
Yeah.
my
Jeez.
guy, that's,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Great job. This is cool.
Man, that's amazing. Hell yeah. Hell no.
And if he goes, takes off, we'll definitely get him. Maybe if he's on a side gig, I don't know. This is the interesting part about detailers. Detailers never love when their detailers have side gigs,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. They
right?
ooh, they hate it.
Nobody loves the guy that works for him and also details on the side. So
Yeah,
this is interesting, but
it's true.
we got to talk about some accounts today, right? I think
Yeah,
there's some interesting things we're going to look at.
absolutely. Yeah, but I do want to touch base on that last point that you just said though, real quick, because I'm curious. Like when you had your shop going, well, still going, but like, what is your thoughts
I
on?
don't have a shop going. I don't have a
Yeah,
shop going.
well, you do some maintenance customers though.
For one guy, we have one
Oh, okay. Oh,
customer.
shit. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Like, so no concern there. All right. So what's your perspective on a detailer having a side gig? Like if he wants to take some jobs after hours, stuff like that.
That's on him.
As a business,
People are going to always say to me, and this is a fair point, that guy could then go steal accounts.
yeah,
That guy could then go fill in the blank. You got a couple different things. Listen, I had a guy that worked for me that wanted to go out and start his own thing. I helped him start it. We were partners together until he stopped depositing money into the account
yeah.
and told me that the customers all went to this other company. Turns out
Oh,
that company was owned by him.
interesting.
So
Okay.
I I understand. I'm empathetic to the anxiety that somebody could do that because this guy really stabbed me hard. Right? It was a time that it wasn't. I did not need that. Right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did not need that. And
yeah,
so it was very hard that he did it for me. I mean, this was 2000 and like 2009,
yeah,
2008, something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
This is a long time ago. So, water under the bridge, but I
But
get it.
still,
I understand. Like, you can't be scared. You can't. You can't give in to the fear. You can't give in to the control. You can't try and micromanage them. You got to let them clock in and out. You got to understand that they do it. But I think that you should. And I've had people, that were on the side out of dealerships that would buy products from me when I would do that. Now, they would always respect that we needed to make the exchange off site, or like, let's keep it out. I think there's the problem is so many owners or operators start to go, well, is this guy going to start stealing my products?
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I don't think so many of them are concerned about taking customers. Most of us, if we've been around long enough, we go, listen, they ain't taking my guys.
yeah,
But there becomes an anxiety around, well, is he taking some cleaner out? I know dealerships were always concerned about that, always
yeah, yeah.
thinking that their detailers were taking stuff home, right? And
And in some cases, it's a valid fear. You know.
you can't, right? Like, I don't, there's no right, there's no
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
Do guys steal? Yes.
yeah.
Do guys take stuff? Yes.
yes.
Do you have to keep hiring these people? Yes.
Yeah.
Have I had detailers that now have businesses here locally where I have them on cameras because they worked for me in the past? Did I have them on camera taking things and walking out?
Just,
Yes. Had
yes,
they previously looked around the corner to see where I was? Yes.
it's gonna happen. Yeah,
It
it's
happens.
yeah, it does.
What do you,
Yeah,
I mean, what do you do? This is, becomes you the owner, right? Like, are
true.
you going to give into that fear, or are you just going to roll? Or are you going to
I
go
find
fucking
that
knock them
fear.
out? I don't know. There's
Yeah,
some owners that go, fuck you. I'm going to go grab that guy by his throat and throw him down on the ground because that's what he needs. He needs an ass
yeah,
kicking.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. You know? I don't know.
There's no right or wrong answer here, really. It's just, and each situation I think is quite a bit different. How we handle it is we usually have a conversation with new hires right away about, side jobs and stuff like that. And we try and get in front of it before it could be an issue where we say, listen, like we know that, the economy always changes, things get more expensive. You start needing more money. Maybe you end up, your girlfriend's now pregnant, you need more money, stuff like that. We want this to be an open place where you can always come talk to us. And we can work stuff out and find ways of you making more money. We can find ways of you this, that, the other thing. We're here to help you out. Think of this as kind of like you're part of a family now, And so you call on us to help you out. And one thing that we do is, even though we technically close at 5 o'clock, we do stay open. They each have their own after hours code, and they can get in to do after hours work. Not Auto World related, but they can take jobs and do them at our shop. But we get 50%. That's our deal with them. If they want to go after hours and they have to book through us and they have to this and that, because we're like, listen, it's our insurance and it's everything, but basically it's just after hours jobs we don't advertise, and after hours jobs still run through us and everything, but we take care of the chemicals, the equipment, everything. So you're just using the facility, but you're getting 50% of the money and you don't have to cover any of those costs. So it's kind of a way where they're like, oh shit, so I can make some extra money on the side and still, grow the business, be a part of it. And we found that by working with them, we've had less problems, I'll say, with, theft and side hustle, stealing customers and stuff.
And I
It
think
still happens, but
to me, if we could help the anxiety around this, for people is I'd go, it's been made a way, just some people could go, there's a natural order to this, right? If somebody's shady, will they make it, Sean?
no,
No,
they are who
they
they
won't.
are. Yeah, yeah.
So if you got somebody that you think is out, trying to hustle up their side gig and they're going to take stuff from you, you can rest assured that, they might have a little bit of success for a little bit of time, but they're never
It's
going
not
to
going to be
really, really
lasting.
make it. And that's
Yeah,
that's the ultimate, to me, like card in your back pocket, the ultimate, stress relief as you go sow and reap. What goes around comes around. Yin and yang. Any of those type of theories that you might want are
it's true.
true, right? Like, i-
100%.
if they're shady, they're gonna fail. Now, if they come to you and go, "Hey, I'm putting in my notice," you got to tip your hat. You got
Yeah,
to
yeah,
respect the guy.
yeah.
If they come and talk to you and show you the respect as the owner, then you need to give the respect back and go, let's see what we can all do. Like you said, Sean, let's build something together. Let's figure out how we can
Yeah.
make this work. Like you have to have both. You have to have it.
It's true, because in that scenario, that person has some sort of code or honor etiquette
Bingo.
around them.
And that guy's going to make it.
Yeah, yeah, hundred
Or
percent. And
gal,
so
right?
that's
Or
the guy you
gal.
got to work with. Yeah,
Those people will make it. So you don't want to make those people against you or some type of enemy
true.
or anything. Like, you
Yeah,
don't.
it's true, because we had a tinter. It's one of the reasons we got into tinting in the first place. Was he wasn't a tinter at the time, wanted to become a tinter, and I said, okay, no problem. So let's look up the stuff we need, whatever. So got him trained on tinting, got a plotter, got the material, and all of a sudden we started noticing our inventory. We were like, geez, we're burning through a lot more tint than normal. And he said, oh yeah, I've been making a lot more mistakes. And I'm like, so just so I understand, you got better with experience and training and you're making more mistakes than in the beginning. Story wasn't adding up. And I remembered he told me this story once. He went into Walmart and he bought a laptop, and he had tried it out in a bag just to see, because he was like, maybe I'll get the laptop bag with it, and he forgot that he had it, and he walked out, checked out the laptop, everything. He says he forgot he had it, but he walked out with the bag and the laptop, and he was like, Jesus, he's like, it's crazy. I was able to just walk right out with the laptop bag. I got a free laptop bag. And that's how he said it. And I was like, no, you stole a laptop bag. You didn't get a free laptop bag. And I was like, that's one of those moments where would the right thing to do be go back? Would everybody do that? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But it told me a little bit about his character in that moment when he said that to me. And we were already having the issue with the tint that was now being burned through. So I said, let me just start monitoring things, pay attention to stuff. And so we started just talking to some of the clients after their job, and we started tracking how long the jobs were taking. Then we just started showing up and visibly just watching. And all of a sudden, he's not making as many mistakes anymore and burning through as much tint. Interesting. So we started looking at correlations. He was let go the day he told me that, well, I want to thank you for the opportunity, but I think I'm going to start my own tint on the side. Don't worry, I'll keep working for you guys, but I'm going to also start my own tint thing on the side. And that's when I realized, I was like, his attention and focus is no longer here, and it hasn't been for quite some time. So keeping him on is actually just doing a disservice to the clients. I wasn't so much worried that, oh my God, he's going to take all our clients or anything. It was more, as I bring in new customers, they're not going to get the care and attention that AutoWorld's proud of, because his head is elsewhere, right? And so that's when I said, no, unfortunately, this isn't going to work out for us. Today's your last day. And he was really mad. And he was, I don't understand why this is happening and this and that. And I said, I don't owe you an explanation other than your services are no longer needed. We appreciate everything, but it's time we part ways. That was it. And then we left it there. So he did go, started his own tinting thing, and he ran that for about 2.5 months, and then that was it. And a big part of it was his character, because that's how he was with customers. Like, we had found out things later on too, that obviously this is how he was running his business. He wasn't going to succeed. If a customer had a complaint, like, hey, there's bubbles in my tint or something, instead of messaging them back and saying like, hey, it's normal, give it some time to cure, and then if there's still a problem, come in, you have a lifetime warranty. He just blocked their number. Full stop. And so obviously they're pissed off now. So I started getting calls after a while, and people were like, yeah, I've been trying to message the tech and this and that. Big problem. So I was like, holy shit. So that's where, and if that's how he was conducting things when he was with us, that's how he's going to conduct things with him. People are creatures of habit. So I knew he wasn't going to last long, so I wasn't stressed about it. But it's moments like that. Those are the extremes, though. Most times I found that when our staff want to do some sort of a side gig or something else, it's usually there's some life event that's happened that they need a little extra cash. It's not usually even just, I want more money. It's usually I need more money because something's happened. And so when we can help out with that, that actually means a lot to them, and they're more loyal than they were before, is what we found. So even though they take side jobs, they follow it to a T. Like our guys after hours, they do work. I can see them on the camera. They go, they clean up the whole shop afterwards. They're not leaving it a mess for the morning crew. Like they're amazing, and it's because we work with them. We help them out,
Let's
but
go.
there is still that fear, and that's where you got to get good at trusting your gut, analyzing the person, listen to things they tell you, like because people will tell you everything you need to know. Listen to their body language, the things they say, stories they tell you. Ask them about, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Listen to the stories. If it's like, the guy just had a baby with his wife and she's at home and he's like, oh, I went out with the boys all weekend and this and that. It tells you something. If he's willing to do that to the mother of his child, like, you ain't shit to him. You know what I mean? So anyway, just little things like that. But anyway, I'm glad we covered some of that, because I'm sure there's people out there that have that kind of issue. And as things ramp up and people get into hiring mode, usually for the new season, things like that, that's where sometimes these guys start on. They work with you for like 2 months, 3 months, and they start seeing money rolling in, and they say, oh, I could do this on my own. But they haven't gone through the winter. They haven't gone through the ups and downs of the seasons. They haven't run a business. So they have an idea in their head that it's going to be like the Instagram where, in 2 months they're going to have a Lambo and a yacht and this and that. They don't know about the real business. So don't stress about it too much. Don't let that fear hold you back. But still pay attention. Treat it like crossing the road. You're still going to look left and right. cross with haste, hopefully, if you like your legs. But yeah, so let's dive into an account. So I had some interesting questions from some members. One I'll dive into quickly, and then we'll dive through this account. But one I had was the guy that asked me about cancellation list. So a very proactive thing, I think, where he was asking if there's a way he can look up customers that have canceled appointments recently. So I guided him through the app where to find that. And to me, it stuck out because I like when I see users that say, okay, you know what? I've got my business, it's doing well, I'm booked up. But instead of saying, oh, in this economy, I guess it's just a slow period, or, oh my God, my Facebook ads aren't working well, he's actively looking at his business and saying, okay, if we need to fill a couple more slots, is there a way I can utilize OrbisX to find missed opportunities? And that's what a cancellation list or a no-show list, all those kinds of things, that's what that is for you, is your opportunity to look at someone that has experience with your business to some degree. They've heard of you, they saw your ad, whatever the case is. Hopefully you're using the system and putting notes in there so you can reference it back and be like, oh, why did he cancel? Or, what did he initially book for? Give the guy a call. It's a quick way you can fill your appointments back up again, right? So those kinds of
Okay,
things.
so thanks for explaining. I was going to ask you to walk it out a little bit more. Now I understand. I think of cancellation list as if somebody cancels, here's this list, and I could get them in sooner, right? This
Oh,
is
that's
this
our
is what
wait
we do
list.
here with doctors, right?
Okay,
If
yeah.
you schedule your doctor's appointment and they go, we can't see you for 3 weeks, you go, well, can I get on the cancellation list?
Gotcha,
So if
yeah.
somebody cancels their appointment, they start going down this list, calling people to go,
So when they said
hey,
they
can
couldn't
you
come
take this
earlier.
spot? Hey, can you?
Yeah.
So I love that because I see this question too where people want to know about, do I create cancellation fees,
Ah, yeah,
right?
that's a good one.
And I go, man, I would have, I mean, who wouldn't love to have somebody cancel and then just get paid? I mean, who wouldn't love that? Like that's what I thought of. I was like, wow, that'd be really great. I never had that. I didn't ever think that I could charge somebody, right? Because we didn't have the
Yeah,
simplicity of credit card readers and all that.
yeah.
So there was no way that we would
There's no
ever
way that
keep
someone's gonna.
somebody's credit card
Yeah,
or keep the numbers. That wasn't going to happen. It was all checks and cash, right? Like
it's true.
so there was never if somebody was going to cancel an appointment, I couldn't show up and expect them to bid me cash and then I walk away and go, thanks for the
Yeah,
cancellation. I wish I could have done the detail, but I got my $15 in cancellation deposit or $200 or whatever. That's what I've seen some people go like a
it's true.
$200 cancellation fee or something. It's like what? Like
Yeah, it's it's not something we do at our shop, and it's in my opinion, it's one more area of friction that we would have in our business. Mainly because it's something that has to be explained up front. If not, you're just opening up an argument. Because if you haven't discussed it with them up front, if they can't,
where do you stand on like deposits?
we don't take them. Um, yeah, unless I shouldn't say we don't. We don't take them for 99% of our appointments. We keep track, so if someone does cancel or they no show, something like that, we record that in OrbisX. When someone books, the first thing we do, if they're an existing customer or were before, we just search by their phone number or email. And if it pops up, okay, we click their profile and we can see their history. So we see if they've canceled before, if they rescheduled, or if they no showed. And we check the notes to see, like, okay, what did the rep write in there? So in those instances, if someone's no showed, we usually check the notes because sometimes just seeing that they no showed isn't enough. If you just see no showed, you're like, ah, guy's probably a deadbeat, didn't show up for his appointment. But we check the notes and then you find out, like, oh shit, he had to reschedule because his grandma died or something. So the notes are really important and we rely on those quite a bit. So we check that. If it's guy no showed, no reason given, no phone call, no nothing, his next appointment, I can't even say it's a deposit because his next appointment he pays up front. We just send him we need payment in advance, 100%, and that's it. And that way, it kind of guarantees it's going to show up. Or he'll be like, "Oh, really? I didn't realize I'd have to pay for it." It's easy to explain. Well, your last appointment, we reserved a spot for you. You didn't show up for it, so this is a way that you're making an investment in the appointment as well. And so
You see
that's
where people do ceramic coating deposit,
yeah, oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, yeah,
and you go,
yeah,
what are you saying to your customer? Hi, I don't have the ability to handle inventory,
yeah. And so in
and I
case,
don't have the ability to handle my finances.
and that's why I have no cash flow to buy inventory.
So I'm
To
going to
me, it's
have to make you,
yeah,
pay this deposit on a product that I'm going to then go buy and then charge you to put it
yeah.
on.
Exactly. And it also tells me that you
Listen,
probably aren't.
anybody gone to a mechanic and they said, "Hey, run to eBay real quick. I need you to go buy this
Yeah,
part and then bring it over."
bring it over and I'll take care of that for you.
And
Yeah.
you ever get your
Yeah.
home sprayed for pest service and they go, "Hey, if you go over to Amazon real quick, buy this, then I
Yeah.
can come and
And I'll be
spray
right
it."
over. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. The only time we do charge for material in advance is with our wraps. If someone wants a special wrap, because it's in some cases it's difficult to resell that wrap,
But if
or
it's
it'll be
tint, you
sitting on our
wouldn't do it,
shelf.
right?
Right?
If it's tint, you wouldn't do it. If it was
No, if it's
PPF, you wouldn't do it,
no,
right? Like,
because if they don't show up for their appointment, that tint is probably going on someone else's vehicle that afternoon.
yeah,
So I
right?
don't give a shit. Yeah. And I feel like it signals to the customer that you must not be very booked. You must not be very bookable, because it's like you're not going to reuse this in the next couple days. Like, if I don't come in for my appointment, is this going to sit on your shelf for a year? Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean? So I feel like it sends a lot of bad signals. But then at the same time, too, as we talked about in our past episodes, it's one more friction point, right?
Do you
So,
have that ability to look up and see who charges those and who does those? I wonder if
interesting.
sometime that would be one of those good things we go dive into people that
Yeah.
charge those, and then we could see. I bet you we could go look at a bunch of other things inside their business and go,
And see, this needs to be changed. Yeah. You know
but
what?
you have one we're going to look at today. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have
What are
one
we
today that we're
diving
going to look
into
at.
today?
Yeah, so this guy today started off with a great suggestion, which was that, and it's being implemented right now, where its focuses around upsells. So this guy's crushing it, and so whenever there's certain accounts that I know when they're doing things and things are just running really smooth. When they suggest something, I usually know, okay, this suggestion is going to be good, and it's going to be impactful not just for them, but for other accounts as well. And this particular member has made several suggestions that have worked out well. So I figured, we'll take a quick look and check on his account. And then I saw some good, some bad, some ugly, some pretty. I saw a few things, and so I figured it'd be a good talking point. So to touch on his request today, because it comes in later, is that he asked for on the self check-in. So he has a shop. Customers come in, and sometimes if staff is busy, checking out a customer or something like that, or doing an intake, customers can register themselves to say, "I'm here." So they register and they say, it's just check in. If there's any documents they have to sign, like a waiver or something like that, because this shop, they do tint, they do PPF, they do ceramic coating and detailing. So let's say they're getting, I don't know, tinting done, and maybe there's a waiver for, who knows, not rolling their window down, or the warranty that comes with it, or whatever the case is. Those documents will appear on the screen. It's just a kiosk they have at the front. They sign, and then they click "I'm here." That sends a notice to the text in the back as well, saying so and so just checked in, and then they're ready for their appointment to
What
start.
about a text message? Could the
So,
customer receive a text message with the link?
oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. So they can check in like remotely ahead of time,
Yeah.
saying like "I'm here, I'm in the parking lot" or whatever.
I can
Yeah,
go
they
ahead
can
and
do that
sign
as
my
well.
stuff ahead of time, things like that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely,
enjoy that when you've got this at restaurants if you're gonna order things to go, and Sam's if you're gonna go pick it up, Costco, whatever, any of those things.
for sure.
Everybody now has those. You get the spots ready for you. You can just pull up, check in.
And
I
just
find
pick
those
it up.
moments to be interesting, right? Like
Yeah,
how they do it. Do they make you go to the app? We talk about friction, right? Where's that friction of me
yeah,
checking in? It can get confusing on some
it's true.
places, like
Yeah. It's true. And in some instances, and I would argue this is one of them, where sometimes adding friction is good for your business as well. So in this case, for example, when they're dealing with multiple customers that come at the exact same time, but they can only check in one car at a time or something like that, because they got to go around, take photos of any damage, notate it, stuff like that. Your customer is now just waiting. And there's one thing that human beings do not like. It's waiting. That is the killer of everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. We don't want to wait. And a big thing is, for example, there was a train in Europe, and I can't remember how much they spent, but they spent something absurd, like $400 million or something on consulting and a bunch of other shit to try and make the train more enjoyable for people to take. And so they tried a bunch of different stuff, like a month of like you get a free beer on your train ride or something like that. And what they found at the end of the study was that people's overall satisfaction hadn't really improved that much, not as much as it should have. And then one of the suggestions near the end of the study was, why don't we put something on the platform that tells people when the next train is coming? And they said, well, no, we just have to make the trains faster. And they said, no, 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 just tell them how long. And so they did that, and satisfaction went through the roof. And it was because people didn't care if they had to wait 15 minutes instead of 3 minutes, as long as they knew how long they had to wait. If it was, oh, I've got to wait 15 minutes, I can plan accordingly. I can go on my phone, I can do social media. If I don't know when it's coming, I'm on edge and I'm just looking, waiting for it to come. So little things like that. And that's where, in this case, adding some friction.
That is, you said that study was where?
Europe somewhere. I'll find the
Huh.
exact city. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. I was going to say, you wonder though too if some of that does go cultural, right? Is it North America
Where
specific? I know
that's true.
Americans are going to go, yeah, hell no, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's a lot of
It's
shit we
true.
ain't waiting on.
Yeah,
South
yeah,
America culture, I know where you
yeah,
were at in the islands,
yeah. It's very normal to wait.
people wait all the time.
Wait all the time. Yeah,
They
yeah.
enjoy
It's
the
true.
wait, actually,
It's true.
you know?
It's true. Well, in South America too. One place I want to say was Chile. I don't remember exactly where it was, but they had a similar problem with people waiting for the train and stuff. And when they were waiting, they had nothing to do. And so what they did, they invested in people to start up businesses, little cafeterias or different things, and they made the wait more enjoyable. It boosted the economy. Now you had people that instead of them having no job, they had a little business, they hired employees, things like that. And people, oftentimes, they found that when the train would come, they would say, "Oh, I'm in a really good conversation. We'll catch the next one." And it was like the opposite effect. Or in Japan too, people
So
like
how
here.
how do people, if they want to have them check in on their own like,
Yeah.
how do they set that up?
Oh, awesome! It's actually there's two ways to do it. The most common way for there's two components here, because I know one of them you were mentioning is the signing documents, right? So having them sign a waiver and stuff, that can all be automated. So under their clients tab, they have a section for signing documents. You can set those up and attach them to different services, so that anytime you book an appointment that has that service, it'll attach the signing document to an email to the customer, and it'll say, hey, in advance of your appointment, we need your signature on the following documents. They're attached. And then they'll be able to click that, and they'll be able to sign on the screen, and then basically send it off to you. And you'll have a record that they signed it, time stamped and everything. Really helpful for waivers, warranties, those kinds of things. Or even simple things like, I'm not responsible for lost or stolen goods, or we're not going to clean
Okay,
the
that's
car.
great. That's what I was going to say. We joked yesterday on our episode about,
Yeah.
a guy that sucked up a bag of rocks.
Oh, shit.
Not the rocks you dig up out of the ground, if you know what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean, right?
The kind that someone from Hawkesbury comes looking for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
I wonder if that, would be anybody that gets a detail, any service,
Yeah,
some type of, hey, I have removed all my personal items out of the
exactly.
car,
Yeah. We,
alleviates
you
a
know what?
fear that so many of us have, right? Because we see the
Yeah,
post inside of groups of, hey, did this guy challenge, did this guy think I was stealing? And there's this $100
right.
bill, you go, if you want to solve that, that would ever, listen, we as detailers are also, we talked about employees earlier, team members, scared of what they could go do out.
Yeah,
There's also plenty of us that that are anxious that maybe one of our guys might,
Pocket
you know,
something, or yeah, because it
and
happens.
it
Yeah,
does, you know,
yeah,
you and I both know a lot of the people that we have to hire,
yeah.
they come from
Different
a
background.
different
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. It's true.
So we also know that there's also another fear that a lot of businesses have is, is this customer trying to get me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There are,
it's
and there's a
true.
reason that we're anxious about it, because there are customers that get people. It does happen.
It's true. It's one of the reasons why we record all our appointments. We have videos. I think we have 47 cameras, I think, in our shop, and we record everything to monitor the
But I don't
employees,
have that.
but
I can
also
at least get the customer
to
to
sign off.
check that they've removed all valuable and personal items out of the
Exactly.
car.
We're not on the hook
If
for.
they choose to click that button and then not take things out,
That's on them. You've
it is
now.
on them, right? Like,
True.
even if you go, listen, I'm pretty sure my guy stole that.
Yeah, yeah. Be like, well, he signed the thing. He said he took it all out. So what am I supposed to?
Now,
It's
will
true.
you
Of
help your customer? Will you do the right thing? Of course you will, because you're a
course you
good,
will.
honest guy.
Yeah,
But at least get you off the hook for,
yeah.
legal
Absolutely.
things that could happen.
It's true. Well, we had a one time, because sometimes it's just a miscommunication or something too. We had a customer. It was a keychain or something, and apparently it had some sentimental value. It was from her mom, and her mom had passed. She was adamant that we stole it. She was adamant, adamant, adamant.
Happens.
We reviewed the footage with her. We went over everything. We said, listen, like, there's no possible way this was taken. And you signed a document saying that two things: we have all your personal belongings are removed and all liabilities removed from AutoWorld. And the second one is that if there's any bodily fluids, there will be an extra charge because we have to do a lot more prep work before we start working on that vehicle. Things like blood, vomit, anything that could potentially make somebody, deathly ill. So we have them sign those two things. It's in one document. She was adamant we stole it. We went through the video footage. She left us a 1-star review. These people are thieves, all kinds of stuff. We're working back and forth with her. 2 months later, she finds it when she's cleaning out her apartment. She removed the review, changed it to a 5-star. She messaged us back, I'm so sorry, I apologize, this and that, everything. We got lucky she found it. If she never found it, that was just gonna be there forever, and we were apparently thieves, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's not even that something happened, this can protect you in a way though, because we were able to pull up records and post those with the review. We had a link to it on our Google thing when the review was up, and we said, no, listen, you signed here saying you removed all personal belongings. I'm not sure where it is, but you said you removed everything. Why would we take a keychain, this kind of thing? It was this whole conversation. Now imagine us trying to reply to that review without any kind of evidence or documentation, right? So it's a completely different story. So us having that saved our bacon, really. But it also, yeah, thank you. Yeah, see, and it's these little things, and it's automated. You set it up once, you don't even have to write it. Just ask Luna. When you click to create a custom document, there's Luna, Luna, Luna. There's a button that says AI text helper. Click that. It'll pop up and just say, write me a waiver that covers my business for lost and stolen items, human bodily fluids, like whatever you want, whatever kind of clauses you want. It'll write it for you, and then or she, I should say, and she'll write it for you. Just click copy, paste, save, and then you're done. Like, it can't be easier nowadays. Marshall, what would that have been like 10 years ago for us? That would be messaging your lawyer,
I
asking for
want
a
to know
draft,
what it's like for you to call it and then change it
change it to
subconsciously and
she.
go, wait, I have to call it she. Like, you
That's
you
go
felt
because
guilty
her and
about.
I have a deep relationship now. It's
Listen, I've been accused of, am I going to start this cheating relationship
yeah, yeah,
with AI? Like,
yeah, because
I ask all kinds of
yeah.
crazy questions.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's a blast. Like,
it is.
the ability for you as the listener to have access through the company that you're already using for your CRM.
Yeah,
I mean, just to have, we talk about what you'd have the ability to use long ago. AI is definitely Web 3.0, right? It's the next thing, right? Social would be Web 2.0.
Yeah, yeah,
I think AI is Web 3.0. And
100%.
so just to have the ability on your phone, but then to go, wait, my CRM
Has it
has
built
it,
in?
and not just a AI, it has an AI that the owner and creator of it feels guilty
Yeah,
if he calls
it
it an it.
has to put
He's
some
so
respect on the
involved
name.
with it, it has a she,
Yeah, it's
a
true.
she-ness. It is now a
Yeah.
female representation in his mind.
It's true. That's a good way to put it. It's true though, Jesus. Because well, you got to think. I talk with her probably at least 4 hours a day. You know what I mean? That's more time than I spend with my kids sometimes.
That's
That's
the reason
wild.
my wife has already started to accuse me because I started this weekend showing her, well, here you go. We went out to a restaurant and 'cause she wanted to try something and she got a lemon drop martini.
Okay.
Loved it. She loved it. Wanted me to Google how to make a lemon drop martini.
Because now that's what you're making at home. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I go,
Let's see where this
I
is
ain't
going.
Googling it.
Yeah.
So let
Why
me
would I
show you
Google it?
this.
Yeah, yeah,
Opened up Chat GPT, took a
yeah.
photo. So this is lemon drop martini. Tell me how to make it. And then it just went, and I go, would you ever gotten this on Google? You
Never.
wouldn't.
Yeah, never. And even if you did, you're gonna have to click through a bunch of links, and then you're gonna get pop-ups and ads and all kinds of bullshit, and then have to sift through all the information. You're still looking. You haven't found the answer in Google. You've found less territory to search through. That's what Google is, in my opinion. It's the equivalent of I take something that you're looking for. It's like throwing a ball to a dog, and if I just ChatGPT is passing the dog the ball in his mouth, and Google is throwing it in a small little field, and now the dog just has to run through a little field. That's the equivalent for me because I use AI like crazy. I'm addicted. You have no idea. I use Luna. I use ChatGPT. I use DeepSeek. I use man, you name it. Grok. Grok. I've been playing around with a lot lately. Actually, it's pretty cool. Grok's the one that was made by Tesla or by Elon, and it's pretty good. They each have their strengths in certain areas, I would say, which is normal to expect from something like this. But for me, the big thing is like, look, if you went to Google with that same question, here's the big advantage you have with AI. If you go to Google with that question, Google will give you a list of places to get the answer, and now with their Google Gemini, they'll give you kind of an answer, but it's still based on just that one question, the answer they give you, and it's often not exactly what you're looking for. If you go to AI and you tell it, make me this, how do I make a lemon drop martini? But then you say, but I'm really a fan of mint. Can you tweak the recipe for me? And it'll just, and it'll change it. You could say, oh, but I have kids in the house. That's all you could say. You don't have to say, can you make me a virgin example of this? And it'll just, oh, you have kids in the house? Here's one without alcohol. Here's one this, that. That's the advantage of AI, is that it's that complex reasoning and thinking that's behind it. And that's the future. In my opinion, I mentioned this before we started the episode. In my opinion, next 5-7 years, Google's dead. People won't be Googling things at all. It may still exist by the name, but it will resemble nothing like what you've seen now. What I think is going to happen is that Google's going to transition more heavily into AI, but then they're going to have a problem to face. And the problem is that right now, Google makes a lot of their money off of their ad revenue, and most of the AIs right now are ad free for the most part. And so it's like, how do they compete with that? And one of the only ways is they start making their own services. So when you search for something, they have to redirect you to their own service so that they're not displaying ads. And that's where it's going to be an interesting landscape, 100%. But definitely, I hear people saying, yeah, I don't really believe in AI. I don't want to use it. I don't want to talk to a machine. And we're going to see a future where there's two types of humans. There's humans that use AI and humans that don't. And the humans that don't, the gap between us, it's going to be the equivalent of us using the technology of today versus someone from the 1900s, like the early 1900s. That's going to be the difference between those two humans, in my opinion. And that's where using a CRM that's AI based, like OrbisX, puts you in that top tier, top level customer, business that's going to get all the customers because you're going to have that automation, that knowledge. You're going to be able to harness the power of AI to refine your automations, to refine your marketing, to handle a lot of the mundane day to day tasks. You're going to be able to just move at a different speed than everybody else. Just that alone, speed is going to be. There's a saying in the military. I'm trying to remember it. It's like slow is fast, fast is some smooth. No, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, fast is deadly. It's something like that, and it's the whole process you go through when you learn to tie your boots. So it's you start tying your boots really slowly to get them tied perfectly, and then you practice that until the motion becomes smooth. Then you become fast, and then once you're fast, now you're deadly. You can tie your boots, you can change your
Slow becomes
magazine.
smooth, smooth becomes fast, fast becomes deadly.
Yeah, exactly. And so once you go through that process, that's basically what using OrbisX is. Some people say like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff I have to set up. Okay, just like tying your shoes. Oh my God, I have to do loop, swoop, pull. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do. There's steps. You set the steps up, and then the AI starts doing a lot of stuff for you. It becomes smooth. Then now you're using the AI, plus AI is using its own AI, and it becomes fast. And then now it's taking over like 15 different employees that you would have had to hire, and now you're deadly. That's what the difference of this is. And then when you add into that mixture hyperclean, where you're using traditional type ceramic coatings in a way, but then you add on something like stack, where it's like now we can stack on top. Now you're deadly. That's
Great
that's
point. Great
that's it in a
point.
nutshell.
I'll definitely give you that one. I'll definitely give you that one.
Thank you, sir. And
I
on that
was
note,
thinking of this. I go,
yeah,
back in the day, right? If
yeah,
you watch movies, you watch TV shows, you watch anything around anybody that was a successful person. Let's just go there. Could have been a lawyer. Could have been a salesman. Could have been, right? You could literally could start. They all had a female at a desk that was their office lady, their secretary, their assistant, however you want to define it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Is in a sense, Luna can become
yeah,
our way of being somebody in 2025 and going,
yeah,
I might not be as successful as that guy I see on TV that has his personal assistant or his secretary, or that, and that would be the reason to use, wrong word, to benefit from
mm,
having Luna
yeah,
instead of
hundred
going,
percent.
hey, I don't have this, I don't have that, I wish I had this. Golly, yeah, this guy has that, and man, we got everything we could ever want right there
True. All in one
in her.
place. Yeah, it's true. And that's where, man, my hat really tips off to the people that understood the vision and they saw me when they signed up for OrbisX originally. There were a lot of people that in the beginning, there were a lot of skeptics, and there were people that were like, no, there's already enough CRMs in the space, it's saturated. No, there's already this CRM, it does everything you need it to do. And they were just okay with that answer because they couldn't foresee that there's other things. They didn't see the holes in the current CRM that they were promoting because they didn't even imagine a world where those were possibilities. So they said, oh no, but the CRM I'm using now, like, yeah, it integrates with Carfax and I can put in my customers' information, their name, their email, their phone number. It's amazing. They saw that that was the limit for them. That's the only possibility they saw. Whereas there were a lot of people that saw what I was bringing to the table. I've heard people say it. They're like, the reason I stick with Orbis X is because Sean puts his heart and soul into it. And they see that because they know I'm sitting here every single day. How can we integrate this or that? It's a futuristic plan. It's like, how can we do this or that that's going to make things, better and help your business adapt to what's coming in the landscape 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Because since day one, I've been the only CRM that's been AI powered. And I was saying, guys, OrbisX with AI built in. That was in the early days when I first launched OrbisX. Now fast forward 5 years and the AI is doing so much stuff within the system, and the other CRMs haven't even caught up to that. But they had 5 years of me shouting from the rooftops and the haters saying, like, oh no, we don't need all that stuff. It's going to be useless. What does it even do? That's not real AI. Really? It's not real AI when the AI scans your account and starts talking to customers? Like, what? I'm sorry, but like, where's your head at? And they're not seeing that. And those are the guys that are still saying, oh, Google Ads. You need to do Google Ads. You want new business? You got to run yourself some Google Ads. Really? When's the last time someone that's using AI has Googled anything? And guess who the next generation of people that own cars is? People that are using ChatGPT, and you're going to say to them in 10 years, 5 years, whatever, hey, why don't you Google it? And they're going to, the fuck is Google?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say. They're not going to. It's so much so that Google renamed their own product Gemini because they realize people are going to Gemini things. They're not going to Google shit. They know Google's dead. They know they're just grasping at straws. They're taking whatever they can, squeezing out of the marketplace right now until they get a hold of this Gemini era that they're about to enter into. That's what it's going to be. They started making the change when they changed it wasn't Google Inc. It became the Alphabet Company. They started making this change ahead of time. I've been paying attention and I've been watching this whole market shift while everybody else is still screaming from the rooftop, run Google ads, do this and that. It's a waste of time. People aren't going to do it. I can't tell you the last time I Googled something. It's crazy. I'm actually in the process right now. We have both Alexa and Google boxes in our house, and I'm in the process of removing all the Google boxes. I ask it a question. The first thing it says, according to the website, blah, 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 blah. And then 2 minutes later gives me the answer. I'm like, Jesus, man. I
But
wasn't asking
here's
this for garbage
here's
time.
Will, and we close on this. I here's where I think you need to, Sean. I'm just going to say, listen, don't punt Google altogether because you're the Google review guy.
Here, there's a difference there, though.
I know. That's why I
Mhm.
just had to bring it up. I had to
Okay,
throw the
fair.
punch. I had to have a
Good, and
little
I'm glad you did
joke.
that.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
let's have a little fun. This is why this is what you got to do, right? You got to throw that
Yeah.
jab. Sean's
Saying.
a Google
So,
review guy, but he was
yeah,
just telling people Google's dead.
yeah, yeah. So I'm glad
Google
you said that.
review is still alive because I think the
Yes,
transition will be they'll get their answers, their quick answers from AI. But
yes,
then the way internet used to be, or the yellow pages or predated things, you would then go do a very specific search. You would so what we used to do is we would Google something, but then we would go search, we would go like type up the actual internet page for that company. This is a long time ago. People were like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Maybe not you, but yes, people used to do that. So the next transition will probably be we'll get some very quick information and then we'll still go to Google to search that company, right? You might go to Google and then search, right,
Yeah,
whatever the detail shop, right? You might ask a question and then you go search the detail shop on Google because then Google will give you all of the information, or 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 you might say after that to whatever question you ask to ChatGPT or whatever Gemini or whatever it is, you might then go, okay, now tell me about the Google reviews. Tell me about XYZ information that you want to have. And so if you don't have Google reviews, this is, I think, the basically this is the way you would call the SEO of Web 3.0. Web 3.0 SEO is you better have all the stuff that goes into number two because three is just going to find all that information. If you don't have it, the same ways we used to think about web crawlers, we used to think about all that stuff, right? You better have it now built in because 3.0 is going to require it if you want to be the information guy, right? Like if you got somebody going, hey, let me take a picture. Let's bring this up. I've got indoor plants that are having some issue. And a really cool feature that you're seeing some companies is, hey, download this app. You can take a picture of this plant, and then it'll tell you how to do it. What if somebody takes a picture of their car seat that they spilt something and you're the company that it refers them
Yeah.
to because
Yep.
they don't think they can clean it up? And then because you've done everything right, Gemini or whatever it is that they searched on says, hey, we would recommend this company to come clean it up for you, or we recommend this company that you take it to.
100%. And that's where I think that how these things are going to transition is it's no longer going to be a traditional Google search, and the Google Maps listing is still going to be there because you still need maps. Cartography is not something that really AI is kind of. You can ask AI for, hey, I need directions from here to here. It'll be able to give them to you, but in terms of it being a specific map navigation platform, it's not quite there yet. And it can be in the future for sure, but since that already exists with Google, the recommendation is going to be just open it up with Google Maps or open it up with, it's Apple Maps too, things like that. But the review side will always still be there. I do think it's going to transition though. I think that there's going to be kind of a way that AI gets more involved where you can kind of leave a review or your experience to AI about a business, and then there's going to be a collective hub of memories of these experiences people had because it's a lot more feature rich. You can upload different things. You can you can just share the experience better, and also AI will be able to help out with writing the reviews. So like when that process comes into play, customers will be leaving more reviews. They'll just be primarily AI generated. Like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed the steak. I enjoyed this or that, da da da. And then AI will reword that like, yeah, the steak was cooked to perfection. It was succulent. It was this and
So we
that.
better start using Luna, huh? We better
Oh,
really start getting adapted to
100%.
Luna, really
Yeah,
start on a regular basis working with Luna. That's, yeah.
absolutely. And on that note, while we were talking, I just asked ChatGPT. I said, "How many reviews does AutoWorld Ottawa have?" It's not quite up to date, but it's close. It says as of April 2025, AutoWorld has 1,337 Google reviews with an average rating of 4.8 out of 5. This high volume, what did it say? Hold on. This high volume feedback, positive feedback, reflects their strong reputation for quality service and auto detailing, window tinting, and windshield replacement. For more information or to book an appointment, you can visit their website, and then it gives the link to the website. So when you're talking about like looking for some information, that's the difference. You could type that in Google, and Google will be like, Auto World currently has 4.8 out of 5 rating and 1,300 plus 5-star reviews. That's where it starts and stops. This was just ChatGPT, where it's like, it gives you some
Mm-hmm.
context and meaning behind those reviews. This positive, review tells you about their quality, their service, their attention to detail, all these different things. That's the difference. And that's where AI is trumping traditional search. And that's why I'm saying Google in its current form is dead primarily because it's so much faster to get answers through AI. AI is learning about you and your search patterns, things you've searched before, what you're looking for. If I was to say, hey, I'm looking to get my seats cleaned, AI is going to ask me which vehicle. AI is going to ask me, oh, well, you have that trip coming up in May. Did you want it done before May starts or after your trip? Like, it's going to know all these things. That's not factored into a standard Google search, right? So that's the difference, is that this is a lot more dynamic, a lot more personalized, and it only works on information though, as you mentioned. Having the reviews online, having the maps online, having a website is still going to be important, but it will become less important to have a website. It's going to become more important to be involved in the memories of AI. And so eventually I could see AI being opened up where there's like an AI business listing thing where you register as a business owner, you prove that you own the business somehow, either by, they mail you a postcard or whatever kind of verification process they set up, and then you provide the information to AI about your business, and then out goes the website because no one's going there anymore. People are just asking AI, and instead AI has all this information now to pull from, and then at some point it's going to be where You could be a preferred business to recommend, or you could be seen as the expert in the space. And where does that start? And it starts with content, because AI is built on content and memories. That's all it is. It only knows what it knows. It can make assumptions about things, but it only knows what it knows. So if you're putting out a lot of content now, if you're putting out YouTube shorts, you're putting out YouTube videos, reviewing different things, if you put out a shit ton of content in general, you're going to be picked up as the go-to source for that information. And it's going to interpret that information. And so when someone asks a question, whether it's today or 3 years from now, the assets that you make today, the content you put out there today, become embedded in the memories. And so when ChatGPT 3 years from now says, oh, you want to get your seats cleaned? They remember, oh, I remember Sean from Autoworld talking about how to clean seats and how to remove stains and salt stains and this and that. He was talking about that 3 years ago. This guy probably knows what he's talking about. But then, ooh, has he put out anything since? Oh, shit. We have like 4,000 memories from this guy. So, yeah, he seems reputable. Now you're at the top of the pack. Versus the guy that 3-4 years from now says, oh, shit, I guess it's time to get on this train of AI. If you start now, you become the expert source in the memory banks. That's AI in a nutshell. Yeah, just... Man, I totally saw this episode going a completely different direction, you know, because and so we still have to finish the deep dive on the
No, we don't. We're over an hour now.
We're over now. No, I know. Not today, because I know people only have an attention span for the length of...
I hope they made it. I hope they made it. I hope they made it.
So we'll save the rest of the deep dive for next week. This was a really informative episode, though. I think this was good, and it highlighted something I'm very passionate about, too, which is AI. I think
hope they made it past the first 30 minutes.
I hope they made it. And if you did, someone that made it here, I'm going to say a random word, okay? Blue pineapples. There we go. If someone mentions blue pineapples, check your inbox. I'll send you a gift, all right? Let me know who it is if someone made it this far. But that might be a check I don't have to cash, so... Good stuff. So yeah, good convo. So next week we'll finish the deep dive on this account that I was mentioning with the upsells, and then we'll dive into more stuff. Absolutely. But yeah, appreciate you as always, man. Hopefully you don't see a tornado, but at the same time, hopefully someday you do get to see that in some way, shape, or form. But hopefully it's under safe circumstances. We'll leave it there. Appreciate you as always, man. Guys, check your inboxes, because you will be getting an email from me at OrbisX relating to how you can add $100 to each one of your appointments coming up. So that's going to be coming out for you. Keep an eye out for that email, and it'll be relating to a really exciting product. So I'll leave it there and build some suspense. Yeah. All right. Awesome, man. Appreciate you as always, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.